Hey, what is up heroes, and welcome to over 50 Pokemon fan games and ROM hacks you need to play. As we play a lot of these on the channel, common questions I get are, what game should I play? Or where do I download these? Well, to download these, check either Relic Castle or Poke Community. You'll find all the games mentioned today, plus even more. And for what games to play, I would usually direct someone to one of my top 10s, but to be honest, my opinion changes constantly as new games come out or get updated, so I thought, let's just go through over 50 games I've enjoyed so you guys can have a wide variety of games to choose from. This list is in no particular order, and some of these games aren't even finished, so just keep that in mind. If you guys want to see any playthroughs of ROM hacks and fan games, make sure you subscribe to the channel or follow me on Twitch at twitch.tv/Foltzy, link in the description down below, because we'll be streaming through a lot of these games. With all that said, let's get into this massive list. So starting off this list, we are starting with 5 Pokemon ROM hacks. That is the Pokemon Adventure series, so we have Red Chapter, Yellow Chapter, Green Chapter, Blue Chapter, and Gold Chapter. There might be even more chapters out there, but these are the 5 I have played and know about. And these games closely follow the Pokemon manga, which is really cool. I know Yellow, Green, Blue, and Gold are quite short, but the Red Chapter is something I would highly recommend playing, because it is a long game, and some events were changed to make the game a little bit longer, but this game now has Generation 7 Pokemon included and has custom megas, some custom stories. Like, Red Chapter is a really awesome ROM hack, and I recommend checking it out. And if you do like that, you definitely have to give Yellow, Green, Blue, and Gold a go. Even though they're really short, about maybe an hour to 2 long, they are still worth checking out. Next we have a fan game called Pokemon Sage. Now this game is really short at the moment, but my god is it beautiful. Probably one of the best looking Pokemon fan games out there. It's all got Fakemon in, and the Fakemon are adorable. The starters look great. There's only about an hour or so of content here, but it's slowly making progress, and hopefully we'll see a new demo very soon. So next up we have another Pokemon ROM hack, which is Dragon Ball Z Team Training. Had to include this on the list. It's basically the story of Fire Red, but you have Dragon Ball Z characters or fighters as Pokemon, and it's just hilarious to play through. If you're a big fan of Dragon Ball Z, definitely check this out, because it is just so cool seeing all the characters in the game, and I definitely wanted to play through this at some point. Next up are 2 fan games, Steve the Bibarel and then Steve the Bibarel Heart of Darkness, which is a prequel to Steve the Bibarel. These 2 games have you actually playing as a Bibarel, and it's actually hilarious. The dialogue in it is super funny. Definitely recommend playing it, because the story is, it's kind of heartwarming and heartbreaking at the same time. It's a really fun game. Definitely check out Steve the Bibarel, because this year I just recently played it, and it's probably up there in my top 10 favorite fan games, because it's just hilarious. Next up we have another fan game, which is probably my favorite fan game. This has been a bit biased, called Pokemon Mirror, and that is because I'm in it, which is so cool. So basically you play as Gold, and you've got to battle a few trainers, some other Poketubers, so you'll fight Munchin Orange, Hoodlum Scrafty, myself. It's a pretty awesome fan game. Just fight through that, get to the end, and it's super cool. Make sure you download this, give it a go, because I'm in it. Being biased, don't care, I'm in it. So next Pokemon fan game isn't your typical RPG Pokemon game. This is actually a fighting game, kind of like Pokken Tournament, but this came way before. It's a 2D fighting game, and it looks so awesome. The animation style is so cool. Now I heard that some of the actual people who drew the Pokemon anime worked on this game. If that's true, that is so cool. But this game looks so great. It plays really well. The stages are beautiful. You're like Ecruteak City, the starting place on Colosseum. Really cool game. Definitely check it out if you enjoy fighting games. So moving back to ROM hacks, we have 3: Victory Fire, Resolute, and Mega Power. I guess you could say these are a trilogy, because they all kind of follow a similar story, have familiar characters, but you don't have to play them in any order at all. However, I would recommend playing Victory Fire, then Resolute, then Mega Power, just because you see some familiar characters and some story might make a little bit of sense here and there. But out of the 3, I would say Resolute is the best, because it recently got updated with Gen 7 Pokemon, and the English is so much better. Before, it made no sense. You'd read it and you just think, what? But now you can read it and actually enjoy the story, because it all makes sense. Not sure if Victory Fire or Mega Power have been updated just yet. I really hope the English does get updated, because they are very cool games. It hurts your brain to read, it really does. So next up we have another ROM hack, which is called Pokemon Advanced Adventure. Now what stood out to me about this game is the Tyrant Pokemon. Now these are basically like modified Pokemon. Just think of the armor on Mewtwo in the anime, but fused with a Pokemon. That's kind of what they look like. and some of them are actually really cool. It's about 8 or 9 to get in the game. Like the first one you find is a Zangoose, which has like a metal claw, like a Wolverine claw. Looks so cool. It really adds to the experience of the game, and I definitely recommend checking this game out. Next up we have 2 Pokemon fan games, Pokemon Retold and Pokemon Nova, both from the same creator. Now Retold is a retelling of Pokemon Fire Red, whereas Nova is an original story. Now Nova's original story, really enjoying that so far. The Fakemon starters look so good. Definitely love the water one, definitely recommend giving him a go if you play the game. And Retold is really good because it's Fire Red but kind of added story and slightly changed. I definitely recommend giving it a go because I don't want to spoil anything. There's a few surprises in it and like maybe a new team. It's a pretty good game. Next fan game we have is Capsule Quest. Now this is kind of a Pokemon fan game but not at the same time, but I really wanted to include in this list because I thought it was a really good game. It's basically Earthbound but in the style of Pokemon. And if you haven't played Earthbound, definitely check out the series. Maybe watch a playthrough on YouTube or something. It's a really good game, and just a Pokemon version of that is just so cool. It's roughly about 2 hours long, but it's well worth a play. Next we have a Pokemon ROM hack called Giratina Strikes Back, and as you can tell, main focus on Giratina. And once Giratina comes to the real world, everything changes and it gets so good. Like at first I thought, oh, it's just a basic ROM hack playing through, you know, an original story. Giratina's going to come out, but once Giratina comes out, Fakemon, and I don't want to spoil stuff, but maybe other people from different games come into our game. Really good ROM hack, definitely recommend checking it out. Next fan game we have is Pokemon Mega Adventure. Now Mega Adventure is complete, really awesome game, has Generation 7 Pokemon, lots of events. You can get Cosmog to get a Solgaleo or Lunala, loads of different things you can do. I loved my team in that game so much, full of Gen 7 Pokemon. Definitely give Mega Adventure a go. So another fan game I really enjoyed was Pokemon Mew U. Similar to Steve's Zipper Barrel, you play as a Pokemon, and you probably guessed it, you play as Mew. And the story is pretty short, about 2 hours long, but it's short and sweet, really nice. Some humans are trying to capture Mew, running away, and you just like basically meet some other Pokemon on the way, and Pink Pokemon unite, Pink Pokemon heal you in the game. You get healed by Miltank, Skitty, Corsola. It's a really cool game, definitely check out Mew U. So next is a ROM hack that I really loved, and that's called Pokemon Life. Now to me this is probably the best looking Pokemon ROM hack out there. However, it's been in alpha for such a long time. I'm really hoping we get an update very soon. It was very unique. Like you can't just press start, go save game. You got save points like in a Final Fantasy game. It's a really cool RPG. It's very short, about an hour's worth of content there, but it's really good. Once you play it, you'll understand why I like it so much. I just really hope this game gets another update or completed soon. It's just so good. So next 2 fan games I want to group together because they're quite similar, and they are Pokemon Reborn and Rejuvenation. These 2 games are very story driven, but they are phenomenal. They are so good. Version 9 of Rejuvenation just recently came out, and it's left me wanting more, so much more. It's such a good game. But the only thing I don't like about these games is they can be extremely hard at points. Now, they're very fantastic good games, but they can just be a bit difficult at times. Like if you played it or seen a video on it before, you know what I mean. But in case you haven't, basically there are level caps. So for Pokemon to obey you, you need certain gym badges. So a Pokemon at level 30 can't obey you unless you have like the 4th gym badge, which is it makes the game a little bit difficult, and you have to use like reverse candies to lower the level of your Pokemon in case they get over leveled. And next are field effects, which like add certain elements to battles. For example, Reborn, I spent probably a good 4 or 5 hours trying to beat the Fairy type gym leader, and it got to a point where she sent out her Whimsicott, which is grass and fairy, and I thought, okay, this is fine. I have my Charizard, I'm just going to flamethrower it. But the field effect made all fire moves dragon, and as it's fairy, I couldn't take out the Whimsicott, so my Charizard was useless. It's things like that that make the game super difficult, but it's also super fun because it makes you really think. You can't just go, oh, I'm going to spam flamethrower and win. You just got to sit there and think, okay, I need to do this, switch into this, use this item here. It makes you really think, but the games are just so good, and the story, I don't want to spoil anything because the story is so good, but if you play it, maybe put on easy mode if you want to experience the story. If you're looking for a challenge, put on hard mode. That's what I would say. So on the subject of difficult games, let's go for 4 ROM hacks, the Dark Horizon series. So we have Dark Horizon 1, 2, Order Destroyed, and Worlds Collide. Now these 4 games are really difficult. They're not difficult like Rejuvenation or Reborn. They just have very high level gaps. So you'll be in like Route 1, enemies will be level like 10, 20. you get to Route 3, they're like 40. It's just insane level gaps, and it makes you train so much. And if you go back to the previous route, the Pokemon are just so low leveled. But hopefully they get sorted out at some point, because I think it ruins the experience a little bit. But the story's pretty cool. And out of the 4, I would definitely say Order Destroyed is my favourite, because it's essentially a Nuzlocke challenge that if you lose, it's game over and you have to restart the whole game again. It's about an hour or 2 long, but it's pretty awesome. And if you want to know what order to play it in, basically it goes 1, 2, Order Destroyed, Worlds Collide, like that. But Worlds Collide is a prequel to it all, because I think you play as your dad as your dad's character in 1 and 2, and Order Destroyed you play as your friend from 1 and 2, if that makes sense. And I forgot to mention as well, the cool thing about Worlds Collide is it has Digimon in, and I love Digimon. So one fan game I quite enjoyed but I haven't finished yet is Pokemon Infinite Fusion. Now it's basically a story around the DNA splicers, and you can fuse any 2 Pokemon you want together, and some of them look hilariously stupid and some of them look hilariously cool. I definitely recommend checking it out, and if you get any cool fusions, let me know, because the best I got, I don't know, I think it was a Squirtle and a Zubat, and it's just a big Zubat's mouth and a Squirtle's head just made me laugh for ages. Next up we have the banned Pokemon ROM hack, and that is Pokemon Prism. Now Prism was absolutely fantastic, completed ROM hack, Generation 2 graphics, don't let that stop you because the game is phenomenal, such a great game. One thing I really loved about the game was you got to play as a Pokemon here and there to solve some puzzles, and that was so cool. I loved playing as my Larvitar, and I really hope more fan games, ROM hacks, or even the main series games do this in the future, because it is so cool. Next we have another banned game, and that is Pokemon Uranium, a fan game which is fantastic. Easily I would say my favourite fan game. Such a great story, got new type and nuclear types. Don't want to spoil too much, but what I will say is get an EV, get the nuclear EV Nucleon, and it is one of the best Pokemon in the game. Nucleon is easily my favourite Fakemon in any Pokemon game. Such a great Pokemon. Give it a Life Orb and Hyper Voice, and it is destroying everything. Next we have a Pokemon fan game called Pokemon Full Moon. Now this has got a very long story. Sometimes it gets a bit confusing here and there, but for the most part it's pretty nice. It's got Generation 7 Pokemon, best starter Pokemon ever, you get an Arcanine, which is really cool. And I would recommend giving this a go. There's a lot of content here and it gets updated regularly. And I think the next episode is coming out in July, so make sure you look out for that. Next we have a ROM hack that features the dead Pokemon Snakewood, with a lot of zombie Pokemon, a lot of zombies and monsters in the game. Really awesome ROM hack. Personally, I thought the game was amazing until the end. I really did not like the end part of the game, but I would say the first maybe like 7 badges. From there, it's a really good ROM hack, but definitely give it a go, make your own opinions, because Snakewood, pretty decent. Next we have a Pokemon ROM hack that I found extremely difficult. The gym puzzles were actually pretty difficult. I think the first gym puzzle and then the 8th or 7th, they were really hard to figure out. But this is Pokemon Vega. Now Vega is really cool because all the Fakemon look incredible. The story's quite nice. There's a character I think everyone will love, the Moss. I love the Moss so much. But the game, complete, really good game. Definitely check it out. Next is a fan game that I really liked, Pokemon Alabasta. This is very story driven. The story is really well written. That's why I really liked it. You have multiple choices and the choices affect different outcomes. So I'll definitely give this a go and make your own choices, because Alabasta is a super awesome fan game I think everyone should be on the lookout for. Next fan game we have Pokemon Spectrum, which is a really awesome fan game. Really like the story of it. The Fakemon are so cool. The only thing I don't like about it, the first gym leader is a dragon type and she has Dragon Rage. And if your Pokemon don't have above 40 HP, which is likely, she is going to one-shot you. So grinding up for the first gym is a tedious task, but after that the game just runs so nicely and you can just like kind of make your way through the game without having to worry about grinding too much. But apart from that, game really awesome. Next Pokemon ROM hack we have is Pokemon Discovery. And a bit like Alabasta, you have multiple choices and you can basically decide to kill someone or let them go, save a Pokemon, let it get captured. There's a lot of things you can do in this game. Has a few Fakemon which are really nice. I wish I had a bit more, but the story really dark but super awesome. Next Pokemon ROM hack we have is Pokemon Unbound. Now when you first look at this you think it's not a ROM hack, it looks a bit like a fan game with the graphics, but it looks so nice. Story revolving around Hooper, Generation 7 Pokemon, really nice ROM hack. It's in alpha right now, hopefully it gets more content soon because I really enjoyed playing through this game. So next up I'm going to put these 3 ROM hacks together, Pokemon Flora Sky, Light Platinum and Glazed. I think everyone's heard of these ROM hacks by now, very popular ROM hacks. All 3 are completed. I quite enjoyed the story. If you haven't played them already, make sure you give them a go. Next up, we have Pokemon Ethereal Gates, a fan game that I'd easily say is up there with Pokemon Sage as one of the best looking fan games out there. The music of this game is beautiful, I love listening to it. The Fakemon are all gorgeous, could easily pass as real Pokemon. About 2 gym badges in this game, definitely give it a go, and I cannot wait for future updates for this because it is definitely something that could be a contender for like best fan game easily. Next up, we have Pokemon Alchemist, a fan game I just recently played through, and I gotta say I really enjoyed it. I just wish there was a little bit more to it. There isn't anything above Generation 5, no fairy typing. I just kind of wish there was more to the game. With a name called Alchemist, I thought it was going to be amazing, but it was just great, you know? Not to say it's a bad game, I just thought it could have been a lot better. So next up, we have a fan game, Pokemon Chaos. Now what drew me to Pokemon Chaos was this pretty cool feature, like when you get HM, you don't have to teach it to your Pokemon. Your character got like a little tattoo on his arm that allowed you to use it, which was pretty awesome. Kind of reminded me of Far Cry 3 a bit, and I quite enjoyed that. So yeah, Pokemon Chaos, pretty decent fan game. Haven't seen much of it recently. I mean, it's been a couple of years, but it was about 3 badges and I thought it was quite nice. Next up, we have a fan game called Pokemon Rose Gold, which I really enjoyed. You play as Red after the events of Fire Red, Leaf Green, and you're basically exploring the Tojo region just before you go to Mount Silver, and once you arrive there, you battle Gold in a like fantastic finale. Rose Gold, super awesome fan game, definitely check it out. Next fan game we have is Pokemon Celestite. Celestite has a really awesome story, a little bit of content here, and you can choose to be the goodies or the baddies, which I really like. And it's got a Rodon form of a speaker system and an arcade machine, which is really nice. Next we have a Pokemon ROM hack that I really enjoyed, Pokemon Sienna. This is one of the ROM hacks that kind of got me into the whole ROM hack fan game scene. And I really enjoyed this game. I think it's a really good story, and the Fakemon look really awesome. Definitely play it because this is one of my firsts, and I really enjoyed this game. Next up, we have a Pokemon fan game, Lustrous Aqua. Now this game is really nice, currently has 2 gym badges and a lot of Fakemon that look beautiful. Now I gotta say, the starter Pokemon in this game, such a hard decision, didn't know who to choose. If you guys play this game, let me know who you chose because I had to go with all 3. I played this game 3 times just to try each one out because I loved all 3 of them. Next fan game we have is Pokemon Insurgents, which you've all probably heard of by now. Delta Pokemon, custom Megas, armor on the Pokemon, amazing story, definitely check out Insurgents. Next fan games we have are Pokemon Zeta and Pokemon Omicron. Very long, awesome fan games. Don't really want to spoil too much, but there is a lot of content here. If you're looking for a very long game to play, this is what you should go for. So next ROM hack we have is Pokemon Liquid Crystal, which is essentially a Crystal version, but done in the GBA graphics with some added story, and it's a really nice ROM hack. Definitely give this a go because if you enjoyed Crystal and you want to replay it, play through this because it's just added story and even better. Next fan game we have is Pokemon Legends of the Arena. Now I really like this fan game because how it's like structured. Basically you go from town to town participating in tournaments, and you start with like 40 people, and every town you go to, people get knocked out of the tournament and it gets smaller and smaller. It's such a really awesome fan game, it's such an awesome idea, definitely check it out. Next ROM hack we have is Pokemon Eclipse. Now I really enjoyed Pokemon Eclipse, I thought it was such a great game. I can't really go into too much detail so I don't want to spoil stuff, but the events in this game really drew me into it, and the more and more I played, the more and more I just wanted to not stop. But unfortunately, I think there's only currently about 5 badges, and once this game is complete, it is definitely a contender to be one of the best ROM hacks out there. On to another ROM hack which I think now could potentially be complete, and that is Pokemon Cyan. Cyan was such a great ROM hack to play through. Very awesome story. The Fakemon was so cool, some of my favorites, and I really recommend Cyan for the Fakemon because they look really cool. Next up we have a fan game, Pokemon Melonite, which is a really awesome story. I love the starter Pokemon in this game. You get Toxicroak, Sneasel, or Natu, and they'll have custom Megas in the future which looks so nice, especially Toxicroak. Don't want to spoil too much, but man, it looks so cool and definitely something to look out for. And the last game on the list is a ROM hack, Pokemon Gaia. You know, you all probably heard me talk about this game so many times because it's pretty much my go-to ROM hack. If someone says, what ROM hack should I play? I pretty much just say go to Gaia because it is one of my favorite ROM hacks out there, if not my favorite. It's a tie between that and Prism. Gaia is such a great game, and the way they've like structured it and how Mega Evolution works is such a great ROM hack, and I definitely recommend checking it out. So there we have it. That is our list for over 50 ROM hacks and fan games you should definitely play. I've got to apologize if I repeat myself here and there. I feel like I said check it out too much in this list, and if I did, I do apologize. But I was trying to keep it short and sweet because there were so many games to get through. And I've got to say a massive thank you to every single person that makes fan games and ROM hacks. You guys make some incredible games, some amazing talent, and I hope you guys go far. with whatever you want to do in the future, whether it be making games or whatever, because you guys got some amazing talent, and I look forward to when your games get finished or working on other games. Definitely will check them out. Now I have to say there are so many more ROM hacks and fan games out in the world that are not on this list, so if you do find any, let me know in the comments down below. Maybe I can play them at some point, or even make a part 2 of this and make 50 more. But thank you guys for watching. I will catch you guys next time. Have a great day. Peace.